Alright guys, so today I'm going to replace the clutch master cylinder on a Toyota Mr2 Sw20. So here it is. That's the part number for it. CMT 060 from ASIN, which is pretty much same as OEM stuff. So here it is. So what we're going to do it now is we're going to go inside the car and pretty much undo the pin and the C-clip that is attached to the clutch pedal, as well as removing the nut and a bolt with a 12mm socket. Alright, so first step, what you want to do is you want to remove this whole plastic cover here. The easiest way not to break any of the plastic, especially that part right there, would be removing the front strut bar. So when that comes off, you can undo all those plastic clips with a special tool, plastic clip remover, and we're gonna drain out all the fluid in the clutch master, which is super dirty right now. So the car there was no pedal feel at all. It'll hold for a little bit. When I pep on the clutch pedal, it would get stuck to the ground. So there's a leakage. Most likely it's that thing, and it's probably the original. So we'll go ahead and replace that as far as flushing the whole system again. Alright, so next part, we're going to remove this, I think it's the retractor for the headlight. Remove that with a 12mm socket, and we're going to remove that 12mm right there inside. And then we're going to go inside and remove the rod and the 12mm nut as well. And once we remove this, we're going to drain all this fluid out from the bottom, or you can drain from the top here, but I want to flush out this whole old fluid anyways. Pin right here, so we'll go ahead and remove that, and then as well as removing to get to that nut right there. So undo that kill switch plug, or the starter switch. So as you can see here, I went ahead and removed this pin, and I went ahead and put a socket in there with a swivel, and it fits perfectly. So I'll go ahead and get a wrench and go ahead and remove that as well. So here's the setup that I have. I connected that hose to a bleeder, like a Harbor Freight stuff. You get this from Amazon, Harbor Freight. And I'm pretty much broken loose with the C-style wrench, so I don't strip the nipple. And it's still bleeding, it's still sucking all the old fluid out. Until everything's out, then I can go ahead and remove the master clutch cylinder. And then that should be good. So let's go ahead and just strain it out. So it's gonna be pretty full here. And it's still sucking all the old fluid out, completely dry. Then I'm gonna dump it out, replace the cylinder, and then refill it with fluid. And it's just the same way that I'm gonna bleed the hydraulic clutch line as well. All right, so we'll go ahead and get one of this tool. It's kind of like a C-style brake tool. And remove the line. You're gonna break that loose, and then you're gonna remove that nut right there. And then we're gonna go inside and remove the rod and the pin and the clip for it, and as well as the 12mm socket bolt. Alright, I went ahead and removed the hydraulic line, and go ahead and get one of these swivel socket type and break that nut loose with the wrench, and then that should get the nut out, and we'll go ahead and slide everything out. Okay, I went ahead and removed that nut on the bottom as well as the hydraulic line. So we'll go ahead and just kind of wiggle it out. And that's it. That's pretty much the old. Alright, so we'll just compare the old and the new one. Here's the old one, here's the new one. Pretty much same manufacturer, ASIN, 5/8. The reason why the grind is off because that is a Toyota logo, and of course they can't sell Toyota logo as an ASIN brand. So let's go ahead and we're gonna measure the rod where the rod was before, and you can adjust the rod by opening this nut out and then just kind of twist it in, and that's how you adjust the pedal when it's down to the floor or up on high. So I'm gonna put it the same length as it was before and be right here. Okay, be right there. All right, it looks perfect, exact identical length. So I'll go ahead and put this back, and the reason why I like to remove all the fluid out from the vehicle beforehand, so that way you don't get any kind of gunk. And it looks like it's pretty nasty stuff in there. It's probably sat there forever. So good thing we went ahead and replaced this, because I was losing pressure with this thing. It would just get stuck to the floor. So I think the seal inside might be busted. Being the Toyota logo, this probably is the original unit that's belonged to the car. That's what I'm thinking. So good thing we went ahead and replaced it. All right, let's put this thing back, and then put the line back on, fill up with fluid, flush it out, and then attach the pedal to the rod, and then bolting everything down, and we should be good to go. Cool. So I went ahead and opened up this this C-clip that was in here, and then when I open it, it was already leaking inside. So looks like the seal has been busted, which it is. You see the O-ring right here? I don't know if you can see that or not, but the O-ring's been pretty beat up. So good thing we replaced it. All right, let's see how the new one is. So I went ahead and got one of these, kind of like a one-man show brake fluid filler. What you do is you put this upside down onto the reservoir, and then you unscrew the bolt, so that way the fluid will drip down. So the more fluid it takes out, the more it will drip in, so that way you can bleed the brakes or clutch fluid, you know, all by yourself. So here it is, the setup on the reservoir. Alright. Looks like I need a new, this thing is too big. Alright, that's pretty much the setup of the bottle. You stick it in the little reservoir. As the fluid drains down, it's gonna just continue going down. So that way you can just bleed as long as you want until it completely ends. So the key is not to have any bubble in that hydraulic line at all. So I'll go ahead and do it manually with a little hand pump. Alright, the key to bleed the clutch line is to crack the nipple out as little as possible, because the more you release it, the more air will go into your threaded nipple. So let's go ahead and just get the pump going, and you see fluid come out slowly. So this takes a little bit of time for the fluid to come out. And remember, during this time, that line is completely empty. Okay, so this is tight already. See, this is really tight. So you want to crack it just barely open, so that way the fluid can come out. If you crack it too much, it's gonna get air from the threaded part of the nipple. And here's the old fluid that I'm pumping out. So there's always vacuum inside the pump. And you can see the lines getting clearer and clearer because of new fluid. And during this time, you don't have to worry about refilling the reservoir, because you have that bottle up there upside down, just feeding fresh fluid in all the time. So I'll go ahead and continue bleeding this fluid, and I'll check back with you later. So as you can see how dirty this fluid is, we're gonna keep doing it until it's completely clear. All right, went ahead and tighten everything up, and that's how clear you want this to be. so you know that the line that's is completely clean and flushed out. So we'll go ahead and test the pedal to see how it is. If it's not engaging or pushing the slave cylinder, you might want to do it manually. May have a friend or something would do that. Do the manually bleed it, where you leave that shut. Your friend will pump a couple times and hold it and release it and then tighten it back again. That's a manual way to bleed it. That's a better way of doing it, but since I'm by myself right now, this is usually how I do it, and it usually works pretty good. But eventually I would want to have my brother or something come and help me out, do it manually if it's not working properly. Alright, so hope this helps. Subscribe to my channel, I'll make more videos. So I went and did some adjustment on this piece inside the car. I actually went to extend this rod out a little bit because for some reason the new rod, the new master cylinder for the clutch, is really down to the floor. So I went ahead and make this extend this out a little more, and so that it could have more travel. But yeah, I went ahead and did that, and the clutch pedal feels really good now. I start the car, put it in gear, the car goes up and down, so pretty good, pretty smooth. And I just bled that one time and that's it. But if I'm gonna take it for a spin, if I need to, then I'll do it manually, bleed it. But so far, it works pretty good. All right, how you guys doing today? So today the video is gonna show you how to replace the clutch master cylinder on a Toyota Mr2 Sw20. Do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it. Thank you very much. All right, how you guys doing today? So today's video is gonna show you how to replace the clutch master cylinder on a Toyota Mr2 Sw20 body. First off, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it so I can make more of these videos. All right, let's get started. So I want to recap the whole process again. Here's the part number for the stuff that you need for the clutch pedal. This piece right here, it goes where the clutch is, the clutch pedal is, and that's the part number for it, 90386-08054. This right here is to lock it in place, and that's the clip, that's the part number for it. And then here's the pin for it. The pin is, this is the part number for the pin. Okay, and then this little washer in here, little wave washer, and then this is the part number for it. 90206-08001. Alright, so basically this goes in here. Try to do it one-handed. It goes in there, and then this C-clip clips into this pin. And your clutch pedal goes between that little plastic piece. This piece right here tends to break when you hear like a little squeaky noise from the clutch pedal. This is most likely broken, and you're pretty much metal to metal with this part right here. So let's recap what we're gonna do first. Remove this whole unit away from the clutch pedal, so let it hang. Undo the 12mm socket bolt, and then we'll go ahead and suck as many fluid out as you can. Bleed the slave, and then remove this bolt in the frunk, and then you're pretty much gonna slide out. Put the new unit in. Bolt this one in. Bolt this one in. Leave this piece, the very last part. Okay. Fill it with new fluids. Bleed the slave, and then once you bled it as much as you can, then you can go ahead and put this on and adjust the pedal, the feel of it, the little rod right here, because this thing rods out. When you spin, just push the rod out, and that's how you adjust the travel of if you want it really close up high or really down to the floor. So once you have that in place, you lock it. I like mine to be really high, so that way when it pushes in, it's for sure it has a lot of travel into the clutch master cylinder. And then once you find the position you like, lock it in place, and then reconnect the clutch pedal. And then if it doesn't engage, try to bleed it manually. So you pump this in, 1, 2, 3, you hold it while you have someone else by the slave barely crack the nipple out until fluids come out. And then you lock it in place, then you release the clutch pedal. And then you do it several times to make sure there's no more bubble in the system at all. Alright, so just want to recap that, and then the part number that you need for the clutch pedal little guide or little cushion pin thingy. Alright,